a mother cheetah is spending peaceful time with her cubs. Suddenly, she senses danger. A hunter is nearby. Moments later, a lion approaches, moving straight toward her. To protect her cubs, the mother cheetah runs, deliberately drawing the lion away from them. Despite her incredible speed, she is soon surrounded by lionesses. They attack her, and the mother cheetah is killed. After some time, the hunters leave the area, unaware that the cubs are still hidden nearby. Lost in the tall grass, the cubs get separated. One cub keeps walking through the night and eventually wanders onto a road. Just then, a vehicle speeds toward him, and a collision seems inevitable. At the last moment, the driver, Peter, swerves and avoids hitting the animal. Seeing the small creature all alone, Peter and his son, Zan, decide to help. Soon they realize it is a cheetah cub. Peter tells Zan that one day the cub will have to be returned to the wild. However, Zan quickly grows attached and believes they can keep him until he grows up. The next morning, Peter and Zan take the cub to their farm, where they already care for several stray animals. Zan introduces the cub to his mother, who names him Duma. Over time, Duma becomes part of their family. Months pass, and Duma grows into a fast and powerful cheetah. During this time, Peter also raises Zan to be responsible, teaching him how to drive, cook, and fix things on his own. One day, while working on the farm, Peter suddenly feels unwell and collapses from his tractor. He is rushed to the hospital and later returns home meeting his wife. He appears to have recovered fully. The next morning, Peter calls Zan and suggests racing Duma to see how fast he has become. Peter rides a motorcycle, Zan sits in the sidecar, and they speed down the road. Zan records everything on camera and watches as Duma effortlessly leaves them behind, running at nearly 50 miles per hour. After returning home, Kristen helps Zan with his studies, but suddenly she breaks down in tears. When Zan asks what is wrong, she hides the truth and tells him to focus on his studies. The following morning, Zan and Duma are playing in the treehouse when Peter arrives. He tells Zan that the time has come to release Duma into the wild. They can no longer keep him. Duma is growing up, and now he must return to his real home, the jungle. Zan did not want to be separated from his friend at any cost, but Peter insisted and showed him a map. He pointed to a hill not far from their place and explained that Duma would be able to live safely there. Peter promised that the following week they would go on a picnic and Zan could spend one last day with Duma. With no other option, the boy agreed and waited. But one night, Zan and Duma heard the sound of an ambulance. Zan ran outside and saw his mother in tears. She hugged her son and told him that his father's condition had worsened. This time, Peter did not survive. The next morning, his funeral took place, and Zan said his final goodbye to his beloved father. The following days were the hardest the family had ever faced. They struggled to adjust to their new reality. Soon, Kristen told Zan that they would have to rent out the farm and move to the city. Without her husband, managing everything alone was impossible. She decided to live with her sister in the city. However, Zan had no intention of leaving Duma behind. He decided to keep him until the people from the nature reserve came to take him away. Eventually, the day came when they moved in with his aunt. Seeing a cheetah inside her house made her extremely uncomfortable, but Kristen assured her that Duma was calm and harmless. The next morning, Kristen dropped Zan off at his new school and went out to look for a job. Duma was sitting on the sofa, but soon he got bored and started roaming around the house. Suddenly, he climbed onto the dining table, frightening Gwen so badly that she ran out of the house, leaving the door wide open. Taking advantage of the open door, Duma ran toward the city, following Zan. At school, Zan was sitting in class when he spotted Duma outside the window. Moments later, Duma disappeared and screams echoed through the building. Chaos broke out as the cheetah ran through the school corridors. 2 armed police officers entered the school to handle the situation. Zan rushed to find Duma before the police could. While searching, he reached the bathroom, where a group of mischievous boys surrounded him. Zan stood his ground, but they pushed him down and started beating him for no reason. Just then, Duma burst out of a bathroom stall and let out a powerful roar. Terrified, the boys ran away. Zan tried to take Duma away, but the police spotted the cheetah and began chasing them. Zan and Duma ran as fast as they could and managed to escape, hiding in a park until things calmed down. Zan finally realized that the city was not a safe place for Duma. That's when he remembered his father's plan, to take Duma to his new home near the hill. He decided he had to save his friend. Zan returned to the farm, took Peter's old motorcycle along with the map, and set off on the journey. After a few hours, the motorcycle ran out of fuel, forcing him to stop on a deserted road. With only a bottle of water left, Zan pushed the bike forward until he came across a crashed airplane. He decided to set up camp there for the night. By evening, Zan slept inside the plane while Duma stood guard outside. As night fell, Duma noticed a man approaching from a distance. Seeing the motorcycle, the man tried to steal it. The noise woke Zan, who asked, "Who are you?" Duma stepped closer, startling the man, who panicked and pulled out a knife. Zan quickly said, "He's my friend, he won't hurt you, don't be scared." The man introduced himself as Rip and said he was heading south, but Zan pointed out that this road actually led west. Rip agreed to give them a ride on his motorcycle in exchange for some water. He then introduced Zan to his small pet monkey, Majoka, whom he had found during his travels. Now their only goal was to find a way out of the desert. While searching inside the crashed plane, Zan discovered a parachute. The moment he saw it, an idea struck him. The next morning, he tied the parachute to a wooden pole and attached it to the motorcycle. Just like ships move with the help of wind over the sea, the strong desert wind now pulled the motorcycle forward. Thanks to this, they managed to cross the vast dry land much faster. After that, Rip went in search of water. He found a patch of land where he suspected an underground river might exist. He started digging, and soon enough, they found enough water to last for the rest of their journey. But water alone was not enough, they still needed food. While looking for something to eat, Zan spotted a large ostrich in the distance. He decided it was time to test Duma's hunting skills. He signaled Duma and sent him after the prey. Duma sprinted after the ostrich, and both disappeared into the jungle. A few minutes later, Zan went to check what had happened. The ostrich was gone, but Duma had found its eggs instead. The eggs were edible, but Rip laughed and said that if the cheetah stayed like this, he would never survive in the African wild. Duma needed to become a real hunter. Zan then showed Rip the map and pointed to the hill where Duma could live safely. He explained that his father had told him the place was far from other predators. After studying the map, Rip warned him that to reach there, they would have to pass through the Okavango, a place so dangerous that very few people ever made it out alive. Rip suggested it would be better to return to the city and sell the cheetah for good money. Zan refused immediately. He said he would never sell his friend. Seeing Zan's determination, Rip decided to accompany him a little further. Together, they continued the journey. Along the way, Zan noticed his father's old compass, which clearly pointed west. Rip, however, wanted to take a different route. Zan felt suspicious but continued following him. Eventually, they reached an abandoned village. The place was eerily silent, with human bones scattered everywhere. Rip guessed that the villagers might have fallen victim to a mysterious attack. Sensing danger, Rip found a sharp metal tip and crafted a spear for protection in case wild animals appeared. As they explored the village, a helicopter suddenly flew overhead, circling above them. Rip warned Zan that dangerous people were inside and told him to quickly hide in a house with Duma. In reality, the helicopter carried Zan's mother, Kristen, who had arrived with the police to search for her missing son. After a few minutes, the helicopter flew away, and Zan never realized how close his mother had been. His suspicion toward Rip grew even stronger. That night, Rip lit fires around their camp to keep lions and other predators away. He then asked Zan if he knew the story behind the black lines on a cheetah's face. Zan replied that his father used to say those lines helped block sunlight from their eyes. Rip said there was an older story behind it. Long ago, a cheetah cub got separated from its mother. She searched everywhere but never found her child. Overwhelmed with grief, she cried day and night. It is said that the black tear marks appeared on every cheetah's face as a symbol of that mother's sorrow. After hearing the story, they went to sleep. The next morning, Rip went out again to look for food. He discovered an old diamond mine and went inside hoping some diamonds might still be left. By now, Zan no longer trusted Rip. Taking advantage of the moment, he fled from there with Duma. Suddenly, Zan heard Rip scream from inside the mine, followed by the sound of him falling. Zan rushed back and saw Rip trapped under loose soil. He quickly cleared some dirt so Rip could breathe. Rip thanked him and asked him to remove the rest, but Zan refused and demanded the truth first. Where was Rip really taking him? Rip acted confused and asked him to free him first, but Zan stood firm. He said he knew they were heading south, a direction he never wanted to take. Zan suspected Rip planned to take him back to the city and sell Duma for money. Rip defended himself, claiming he was only moving along the mountains because it was a safer route. Zan did not believe him. He left Rip there, took his backpack, picked up Majoka, and decided to continue the journey alone, determined to get Duma to the right place. After a few hours, Zan and Duma reached a wide river at the base of the mountains. According to the map, they had to cross it to reach their destination. Using the skills his father had taught him, Zan built a small raft and entered the river. At first, the water seemed calm, but soon Duma began acting strangely. Looking ahead, Zan saw large rocks. He tried to steer the raft away, but the strong current flipped it over. All three were thrown into the water, struggling to survive. The situation became even worse when a group of crocodiles attacked. Zan grabbed Rip's spear and fought desperately to protect himself. Somehow, they managed to reach the shore, narrowly escaping the crocodiles. After that terrifying experience, they passed through a vast cornfield. On the other side, Zan spotted a large herd of African buffalo. Startled by the noise, the herd began to run. Duma chased after one of the buffalo at full speed. Zan lost sight of him and ran after him, but hours passed with no sign of Duma. Night was approaching, and Zan knew he was becoming easy prey. Still, he refused to give up and continued searching. Eventually, he entered a forest where he came face to face with a wild boar. Terrified, Zan climbed a tree. As he waited, a poisonous spider crawled across his face. He stayed perfectly still until the boar finally left. Once it was safe, Zan climbed down and continued searching for Duma. He soon discovered that Duma was trapped in a snare deep inside the forest. The cheetah had struggled, but it was a cage set by hunters who capture wild animals to sell them. Zan knew he had to save his friend quickly. While searching for help, Majoka suddenly jumped onto his face, clearly happy to see him again. But at that moment, the wild boar returned and charged toward them. Zan tried to run, but soon collapsed and lost consciousness. Everything seemed over until Zan woke up near a fire. Duma was sitting beside him, and Rip was gently stroking the cheetah. It turned out Rip had returned just in time, freed Duma from the trap, and saved Zan from the boar's attack. Overwhelmed, Zan apologized for leaving him behind. Rip admitted that Zan's suspicion had not been wrong. He confessed that he had planned to take them back and claim the reward so he could return to his family. Years ago, Rip had left his village, his wife, and his children to try his luck in the city. One disaster after another led him to prison, where he spent many years. After his release, he had been desperate to earn money to reunite with his family. Hearing this, Zan began to trust him. Rip promised to help take Duma to his new home. Before continuing, they went searching for food and soon spotted 2 deer in the forest. Zan urged Duma to chase them, but the cheetah still hadn't learned how to hunt properly and once again let the prey go. They were extremely hungry, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find any food. As evening approached, they noticed bright lights glowing in one part of the jungle. A group of tourists was camping there. Seeing an opportunity, Rip and Zan quickly came up with a plan. At dawn, Zan approached the tourists, pretending he had been bitten by a poisonous snake. Concerned, the tourists rushed to help him. Suddenly, a snake slipped out from under Zan's shirt, looking just like a black mamba. Terrified, the tourists panicked and ran away. Using the distraction, Zan and Rip grabbed all their food and escaped. After that, they continued their journey by traveling along the river in a boat. Along the way, Zan handed Rip the money he had saved. He told him it was a fee for helping him. Rip was pleased and, in return, gave Zan a small diamond he had found in the cave, calling it a symbol of their friendship. Once they crossed the river, they continued on foot through the mountains. On the way, Duma spotted the remains of a deer kill. Rip warned that lions might be nearby, but Duma still began eating the meat. Zan asked Duma to share some food with them, but the cheetah reacted aggressively and growled at him. Zan was shocked. Duma had never behaved like that before. Rip explained that Zan should leave him alone. Duma was starting to adapt to life in the wild. After Duma finished eating, they rested inside a cave. There, they noticed ancient cave paintings on the walls. Rip said his village was nearby and that he used to camp in this cave with his father during childhood. But everything had changed now. He added that one day, even this cave and the people who came here would be forgotten. Hearing this made Zan reflect deeply. He admitted that he hated change because ever since his father's death, his entire life had been turned upside down. Zan felt that once Duma left, even more changes would follow, and he hated the thought of that. Rip tried to explain that change is a rule of the world. It cannot be stopped. But not every change is bad. Because of these changes, Zan had become stronger and braver, and Duma was slowly transforming from a pet into a true creature of the wild. Zan understood this, yet saying goodbye to his best friend was not easy for him. The next day, they left the cave and crossed a vast field. From a distance, Rip showed Zan his old village and took him there. Suddenly, a swarm of flies attacked them. To protect Zan, Rip removed his coat and covered him completely. The flies bit Rip repeatedly, and the poison caused his entire body to swell. Still, he kept Zan protected until the swarm finally passed. Hours later, as evening approached, Rip tried to move forward, but his eyes began to close and his hands stopped responding. Heavy rain started pouring, and dangerous animals began roaming in the darkness. Rip gathered some dry grass and asked Zan to light his lighter so they could start a campfire and stay safe. Luckily, the fire ignited and they survived the night. Once the rain eased and things seemed slightly better, Zan decided to go to the village for help. He asked Duma to stay back and look after Rip. But as soon as Zan moved away from the fire, a pride of lions attacked him. Seeing his friend in danger, Duma ran after Zan and drew the lion's attention toward himself. Using his speed, he led the predators toward a cave and then escaped safely from the other side. By then, Zan had reached the village and met an elderly man. Through gestures, he asked for help to save Rip. Even without understanding the language, the elder gathered a few people and followed Zan back. They found Rip lying unconscious near the fire. As they carried him away, Zan began calling out for Duma. At the same time, Duma heard the call of another cheetah and went toward the sound. The next morning, Zan waited outside the village while the elders treated Rip. Using their traditional herbs, they removed all the poison from his body. When Rip regained consciousness, he saw his wife, his 2 children, and his mother standing before him. Overcome with emotion, Rip broke down and apologized for being gone for so many years. He then introduced Zan to his family, who thanked the boy for saving him. Zan was relieved that Rip had survived, but he was worried because Duma had not returned. After some time, Zan left the village to search for him. A short distance away, he spotted 2 cheetahs hunting a deer. One of them was Duma, now fully part of the wild. Seeing this, Zan remembered his father's words, that Duma belonged in his true home. Heartbroken, Zan turned to leave. Just then, Duma ran back to him and gently nuzzled him, just like he always used to. Zan said a loving goodbye, promising he would never forget him. Rip watched the 2 friends part ways and called Zan over. Tears filled the boy's eyes. A few days later, we see Kristen working on the farm, still hoping her son would return. And then, Zan finally comes back, riding his father's motorcycle, dressed in Rip's tribal clothes, with his new friend, Majoka the monkey, by his side. Seeing her son, Kristen runs to him and embraces him tightly. Zan promises that he will never leave her alone again. Together, they begin a new chapter of their lives. Things are no longer the same, but Zan says he has become responsible now and will take care of the farm just like his father did. Meanwhile, Duma is shown living freely and happily as a true part of the jungle. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.